Hi everyone, welcome back to Slash 2. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Charlie.
And after a week off, we are back and we want to continue our quest with our character.
I will apologise, I've been sick with meningitis. Wasn't planned, wasn't great. I don't remember most of last week, so it was decided that we needed to take a pass. After being in and out of the hospital, it was...
Yeah.
But
Massive props to the NHS, you guys are amazing.
Yeah, this is why everyone needs a national healthcare system and why we need to eat the rich who keep trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're back now and ready to sort of... ready and rearing to go.
Yeah.
With Kevara Strongarm.
So we left off... her and her lift buddies, broettes, whatever you want to call them, they were on their way to Big Dwarf Town because of some wedding, and we were going to discuss getting her an item. Yeah,
so basically what I think, she's coming from a magic school, isn't she?
Yeah.
She probably is going to stop and see her sister as she goes to leave, and I think the sister is probably going to bestow upon her a magic item to help her in her quest. I think her sister's been quite supportive. She knew that she wasn't really happy here, so is going to give her a little something to help her on her travels, as it were.
That's pretty fresh, because normally there's some sort of brutal sibling rivalry going on.
I know, which is something we discussed last episode, that we covered it, saying that I didn't really want her to be upset at her sister. I think that it's not the sister's fault that her parents looked up to her and wanted her to be more like that. I think the sister was probably the one positive family member that she had, the one positive relationship she had. The sister wanted her to do what that's why, because we said obviously the sister was probably a teacher at the university now.
Yeah.
She was probably the one that was supporting her, letting her get away with going and hanging out with her mates instead of going to all of her classes and blah. She was probably the one that was wanting what's best for her sister rather than what is planned for her sister, as it were.
Do you think maybe the parents sort of took a back seat because when they saw how swole she got and how she could snap them, that maybe they were just like, okay, you do you.
Well, we said that it was an argument where she accidentally bitch-slapped her dad into a chicken.
That was it.
That was the inciting incident for her to leave.
Oh, yes, now, because this is a reference to the meme of how fast you can slap a chicken in order to
cook it. Yeah.
Thankfully, she didn't slap him that hard.
No, she didn't cook her father as well.
Wait, did he come back from her being a chicken, though?
We haven't discussed that yet. We're not that far. We can certainly have a look at progressing her plotline while we're here.
Yeah, we could call that chapter The Cock-Up.
We could certainly have a look at doing that. But first of all, I want to develop a bit more about her leaving with her sister and this magic item that we're going to get. Mostly so it can be out there for anyone who's, DMing, wanting to create a magic item, see a bit more of the process and thoughts that go into it. Obviously, it's kind of difficult because Kevara's our own fantasy world. She's not limited to, for example, 5th edition D&D or any other specific article. But it'll still be an idea as to how you can swing things.
Okay, how's this then for this magical item? So, I want to propose what it looks like.
Okay.
And then you can propose the effect.
I already had an idea for appearance, but we can certainly have a go, yeah?
So I was thinking a bracelet or a charm that went around her wrist that looked a little bit like a Fitbit.
Oh, no. No, that doesn't match at all.
Or just like something that's on a wrist that's got a special stone on it, and it'll activate and do the thing. Please don't sue us, people that write Ben 10. That's all I know about it.
Well, there's a couple of things. So my initial thought was hand wraps.
Yeah.
So that classic look, or maybe gloves or something along that way. So a bracelet isn't far off.
Oh my god! And what if we gave her boxing gloves that she can only use once per fight? They had a cooldown, so when she's kicking the shit out of something, she's just bring it on and puts the gloves on, and she's let's fucking go.
Well, how about we tie it together? How about the bracelet transforms into fighting gloves?
Yeah, that works.
That way, if she's ever stripped of weaponry going into, for example, a highly policed city, or is
we're implying she's got weapons, but they're right here on the ends of her arms.
That's the point. But people won't be looking for them. People will be looking to remove knives, daggers, blah blah blah. If they're kidnapped, for example.
Yeah.
No one's going to really think too much other than monetary value about removing a bracelet. But then the bracelet shoots out and maybe we get some cool spiked gloves so she can do some extra fucking damage on there.
Yeah.
There's also something that you made me think about, which was in a game of D&D I played, we met a character who had a similar bracelet.
Yeah.
And when she twisted it to a different setting, it would transform her fists into a different material. So stone and granite and ice and things like that, so she could do more.
Cool.
So obviously the harder the stone, the more damage she can do.
That's like super handy as well for other things. Think of the practical applications, like for baking and getting stuff out of the oven. Like, you don't need to put gloves on. You just flick that fucker and you've got stone hands. You get that shit out.
You know what's even better is when you're baking like pastries and biscuits and bread especially, you want cold hands.
Yeah.
So just turn your hands to ice and start kneading your dough away. You don't have to worry about it getting too hot.
So next week on /2, we're covering baking.
But yeah, so something like that maybe. But let's start with basics. So we definitely going for bracelet that affects hands in some way.
Yeah.
What do we want this thing to look like?
I was thinking like a braided like leather strap with maybe like a green gem on it, but not like an overly blingy green gem, just like a discreet one, like what like you'd find in cheap jewelry.
More like a jade circle, a stone rather than a gem.
Yeah, something that someone would look at and be like, that's shit. And it's more practical than nice appearance.
So it's like a maybe a darker sort of mossy green colour then, and just this one simple bead on it.
Well, like I would say about the size of maybe like a 5p piece, something like that.
Yeah. So a green jade bead. I'm writing things down again, so we've got notes.
Yeah. We digitised our notes and they've gone walkabouts.
It's a good thing we did digitise them, really. I hope everyone looked like the pictures of Kevara that we'd come up with, by the way.
I'm an excellent artist. Look me up.
But yeah, that's perfect. So if we're going to have just the one bead on it, are we going to assume then it has basically one function that's turn it off and on then? It's going to hard to control multiple functions.
I don't know. We could go like old style Apple home button, like a single tap does one thing and a double tap does more of one thing.
More of one thing?
Yeah, but without the software updates.
Oh, okay.
Well, why don't we put like a couple of beads on it? So we have like a big one in the middle that's like turn on, and then we have another one that's like lethal, and then another one that's just more lethal.
So you want a base function and then 2 power-ups.
Yeah, let's roll with that. This is getting fucking complicated now. Let's keep this train rolling.
So the base function then I would say is gloves.
Yeah.
Produce on her hands.
Yeah. We've added more functions to this beautiful design, milled from a single piece of fucks given. Sorry, Johnny Ive, suck it.
Cool, so we now have a level 1 and a level 2.
Yeah.
So, level 1.
Yeah.
I would suggest maybe something like Stone Fist. Maybe something like metal spikes popping out, like extra damage. Something like that. And level 2, either being a boosted version of it, or possibly...
Why don't we keep it a little bit elementally? So, like, a hands take on like almost like a wooden appearance, or a stone, like dark stone appearance, but like thorn vines come over the knuckles, maybe.
Yeah.
That's kind of like cool.
Okay, so step 1 would be the stone hand, and then step 2 would be knuckle duster style.
Yeah, but like a druid's knuckle duster.
Yeah, that's fine. That works. So
Fantasy
we'll say
as fuck.
Granite hands.
Yeah.
And then level 2, thorns come out.
Thorny knuckles.
Cool. So this would be quite a high level. If we were translating it to something like D&D, this would be quite a high level magic item to hand your party. I would suggest that when you have just plain gloves, you treat it as something akin to a dagger, so a D4 of damage.
Yeah.
Obviously, these could be finesse weapons, so they could be based on strength or dex, that either would work. So it'd be a D4 of damage. Mm-hmm. When you go up to the stone, I would probably up your damage dice more than giving it any extra bonuses.
Just add another dice.
No, I mean more going up to maybe a D8, a D6 or a D8.
Yeah.
For the damage, because it's a stone fist, so it's doing more hard hitting.
Yeah.
And then when you go up to level 2, obviously you only have a set number of times you can do each a day. Mm-hmm. When you go up to level 2 and you get the thorns, then have it do an extra, say, D6 of piercing damage for the thorns.
Yeah, that works.
And I would do it set it so you could have like 4 charges a day. And if you go up to level 2, then that is 2 charges because it's going to stone and thorns. You can't go straight to level you can't have just the thorns and nothing else.
Yeah.
You have to go stone and thorns, so it would burn 2 charges. And do something like that if you were putting this into D&D. To be honest, that doesn't sound as overpowered. Now I've actually laid it out, you could probably give that to a relatively low-level character, because it's only...
Because it'll scale with the ability for level 1 and level 2 spells.
It does depend. You could have it as a scaling item so that it will grow with your players, but generally that's going to be a relatively low-level basic magical item, which makes sense for us because it's a present she's got for leaving. This is the start of her journey.
Yeah.
So she may find something that's better later down the line.
Yeah. I reckon she'd probably keep hold of it though, because it's from her sister.
And it's just a bracelet, so it's not something... I mean, she could get into a fancy party wearing that, and if shit kicks off, she's immediately got her weapons on her.
Like any good, vigilant, strong female should be.
It's a great item for her, because it's, 1, playing into her strengths, and 2, it's subtle, so she can obviously be slightly less obvious with it. Obviously, she's not exactly a sneaky sort of person. She's quite brash, I think we decided.
Yeah.
But there is some times where subtlety will help.
Yeah, and she does have those moments of, like, she's not dumb.
And I think she's the type to be prepared in that way, and that so having something like that where she can keep her weapons on her at all times is great for her. That saves her time and faffing about.
Yeah.
Sort of mentality, more practical mentality for her.
Yeah, like she's a kind of like, I know what I need to do, but I'm just going to do this, and then I will figure out what I'm doing while I'm doing this particular thing. As she cracks someone's neck.
She just snaps someone's spine with her stone hands.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, just beat him with the wet end.
Perfect. So, I mean, that was very quick, very easy.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Making magic items, getting a spark of an idea is usually the hardest thing to do. I mean, if we have a quick note about some magic items we found in our campaign, your shield, for example, which came in a lot of help this session.
That was great. Like, to set the scene, we'd stole some enemy hang gliders. That's right. They were, hang gliders. And we landed on a tower with these, like, what I can only describe as, the way you drew the picture to me, it was like a wrinkly nutsack with wings and a beak.
Okay, so they are meant to be based off of plague doctors. So they have this black leathery skin which sort of hangs from their form very unpleasantly.
Oh, man.
They have a reek of death about them. They have the leather goes straight into and onto a long beak. They're based on Aarakocra. They're like a demented form of Aarakocra, which are bird people, so they do have these leathery wings, these hunched, malformed creatures, with, instead of normal eyes, they have like big glassy sockets in the head that are just completely black, almost like insect eyes, more than actual creature. They're meant to be creepy and demented and deformed, and not quite testically, but yeah, they are meant to be this leathery, tough, leathery skin.
Well, I imagine, you know, like when you sit on a leather sofa, like I imagine that's the noise they make when they walk around.
No, that
like skin on leather kind of noise.
No, more like you know this leather bag that I have, which is quite well worn. It's not a polished leather and a coated leather you normally get on sofas. Yeah. That's sort of working leather, the hardy leather.
Yeah. But yeah, we fucked them up. I grappled with one and threw it off the edge.
You grappled too?
Oh yeah. And basically I got given a shield by Mouse.
It was a Christmas present. It was from the player who plays Mouse.
Yeah.
But it was given to you in-game by a different character.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, you are right. And it's based off...
Captain America's shield.
Yeah, but, like, for the sake of people that listen to this sort of genre, I'd say it is like that. But think of the Avengers shield from World of Warcraft, what Paladin tanks use. So you throw it, it causes an interrupt, and it will bounce off. I think it's like up to 3 or 4 enemies causing damage. Before, on the last, I think the 4th bounce, it was supposed to return to its original throwee, dude with sword.
Yeah, so it makes, basically you make a ranged attack on each one, and it does a small amount of damage on each one. And if there's someone else within 25 feet, it will bounce and hit them, and you again roll another ranged attack.
Yeah.
If it fails, then it will clatter to the floor at that creature's feet, and you lose your AC bonus.
But that's why I cast Shield of Faith and bullshit it back up to 18.
Yeah. But yeah, so it bounces and pings around, and you managed to get a very nice chain going. You managed to hit like 4 of them before it failed.
And then Toby got his mage hand and returned it to me.
Yeah, because it's not a heavy item. He just mage handed it back over, wasted his turn to give you your shield back to do it again.
Well, to be fair, it was going to be more effective because, I mean, Toby's new. Mm-hmm. He's only been with the party 2 sessions now. And he's probably still trying to find...
He spent most of that session hiding. He spent most of that combat hiding, so...
Yeah, and looking through his spells to see what he could do. He's still finding his feet with Bard. But it was handy as hell. And as long as, like, there's a mage hand nearby, because there's 2 of them now, and I'm surprised there's not been a mage hand high five yet. But no, it was a great session. I really enjoyed it. And we had a lot of fun. And it's shit like that, you know, it was great.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
And I had lots of ice cream.
But yeah, I mean, there's loads and loads of magic items that I've designed and planned through the time. There was the Dragon's Ring, which was a ring in the shape of a dragon with several inlaid stones, each a different colour corresponding to a different type of damage that you can do in D&D. So poison and fire and ice and blah, 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 blah.
But nothing will do the amount of damage we need as disappointed parents.
But you could use it when you cast a spell that does a type of damage to double the damage dice for that type. Wow. Yeah, it's a very powerful item. They are one-time use. Once you use a gem, it shatters. So you can boost 1 poison spell, that's it in the whole ring's lifetime. So it's a ex machina sort of thing. When you're in a very, very tight spot and you need to do 1 massive burst of damage, it's great, but you can only do it a limited amount of times before it's completely worthless.
A weapon worth talking about. It was a sword in World of Warcraft, which has been, or it's had its effect removed. You can't get it anymore, but essentially it was a low-level sword for level... they used it in up to level 19 Battlegrounds. Essentially, when this sword got a crit... I believe it had a chance for an additional swing on that same hit, but it also caused bleed damage. But if you put the correct enchant on it, all it took was 1 swing with a crit and you could kill someone. They would literally bleed to death. You couldn't out-heal that shit.
Yeah.
It was really overpowered and really broken, and it was quite an interesting weapon to see in Battlegrounds, especially when it's on your side.
Yeah.
Because you can literally wade into a fight, take 1 swing at everybody and watch them all run away dying.
Definitely very useful then. I mean, I've just while you've been talking about that, loaded up my D&D compendium information. So the stuff that I've got online from my basic information and ideas. And I've got some of the actual magic items we've come across. So I've got some of them are basic ones. Pearl of Power, which is a standard thing. Fortifying gloves. One of Leicester Restoration. But then I've got stuff like the Siren's Comb. Which I'm just showing Carl a picture of at the minute. It is a hair comb, all encrusted with siren scales. You can use it to sharpen a blade between its teeth.
Yeah.
Which will give an extra +1 on your next attack with that. It's only a 1 attack sort of thing. However, it's got the additional bonus that if you brush hair with it, it will force the hair to stand on end, and you can hold it out and play it as a... violin, for example, or pluck it like you would a lyre or a guitar, in order to use your own hair and this comb as a musical item, it was designed for a bard. It's great for a bard. It gives a boost to performance when you do that, because obviously it's quite a show. Otherwise, it's not something you would usually do every day. You would just use your normal weapon.
It's like the Banshee's hair comb, where if you can trick a Banshee into brushing her hair with it, her hair single strands will come out and stick to this comb. If you return them to a high enough skilled tailor, you can then use it to make extremely powerful spell thread to use to imbue in things like cloaks or pants, as in, whatever you want, really.
Yeah. Pants as in trousers, I'm assuming.
No, well, yeah, pants and trousers, but I was assuming to like boxers and briefs. Or if you can get enough of it, you can use it to make a banshee hair bow, which will fire. What's the word? It will fire spectral arrows. That's the word I'm looking for.
Very nice.
But you got to be ballsy enough to like get a banshee to brush your, let it brush your hair. So you're gonna have a lot of something good on you.
Yeah, definitely a risky one. Speaking of risky, I've got another one here, Salazar's Magic Eye. It was originally called Salazar's Magic Eye, but no one could pronounce that, so now it's Salazar as in Salazar Slytherin. This appears in our game a couple of times.
Yeah, it's been used to prime people getting changed.
Mm-hmm. Basically, it's a mini spyglass, handcrafted from some sort of bone, with a silver inlay, so it's quite fancy looking. Grants you the ability to see through solid objects that it's pressed against. So 6 inches of stone, 1 inch of common metal, or up to a foot of wood or dirt. So you can look through doors and walls and things like that, depending on the material, to spy on other rooms and other characters and what they're doing. It's very useful in dungeons if you're worried about what's behind this next door. To have a peek, look through what's going on in there. A lot of the times it's dark and you can't see, but, you know.
Worth a shot.
Yeah, it's very, very useful. There's a couple of others which aren't very interesting, but then one of them which is, that I gave both of my parties at the start of the campaign. Because in this campaign I've made it clear that you need to be making allies and making strong friends for the future, basically, for a big battle that's coming up at some point.
Yeah.
So I gave them something called the Bracelet of Friends, which is a couple of ways you can use it. Each party is using it slightly differently. So it was given to the party by a mermaid that they rescued. And basically it's a silver charm bracelet. Comes with 4 charms as standard, which basically you can code to individuals.
Oh, sweet.
So if you hold it up and say the basically the magic word, the incantation, it will shift the appearance of the... Instead of being a smooth metal disc for the charm, it will customise to the creature. So Yueo, the mermaid who gave it you, showed you how it worked by coding herself to it.
Yeah.
So hers is a pearl in a swirling cage which glows blue. Our party hasn't really coded it to anybody else. They've not really done that yet. The other party has coded it to themselves.
Is this the bracelet that Mouse has got?
Yes, this is the bracelet Mouse has got.
I'm
But
learning.
you use the bracelet, you can hold the specific token for the person and say their name, and they will have basically a mental buzzer go off, and they can choose to be instantly teleported to you or not.
Oh wow, like a pager for D&D.
It's like a pager. So you can instantly summon a friend to help in battle or in, you know, any sort of puzzles and things like that. You can summon someone to help, and they are unsummoned by, again, holding it and saying their name. So it's an instant summon. Now, they don't have to accept it. They can refuse the call, which has happened a couple of times, but it's a really good way of summoning individuals in an emergency situation.
Yep.
So, like I say, you've both got Yueo coded to it, the mermaid, so if you ever were in trouble underwater, she would be a much use there. So that's a really cool one. Again, I thought that you guys would use it more.
I wasn't aware of it until...
Mouse has never mentioned it to you.
Until maybe, 4 minutes ago?
Yeah.
As far as I knew, this bracelet were to stop demons, watching him fat.
So he has 2 bracelets.
Oh, right. Then I don't know anything about this one.
He has this one with Yueo on it, and he has the leather one given to him by his god. Or not his god, the god that has claimed him, as it were.
I claimed a boy.
But yeah, this is a very useful charm bracelet, basically. You can go and get extra charms made, but neither group has found out how to do that yet.
Fair enough.
And it's very expensive. But yeah, it really nice, simple object to give at the start. Some parties will code it to themselves, so if they are separated for whatever reason, they can instantly gather everyone together.
Yep.
Some parties will code it to individuals, like if they befriend a giant, and they can call a giant for them and combat at any point, or anything like that. Someone that they think is at high risk of being kidnapped, blah, 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 an important NPC. So you've always got, basically, on-call pages.
Well, we can't really talk about magical items and not talk about my fucking sword. I'm on about my actual sword, not my other sword. Leanne, talking sword.
Do you want to tell them how you got Leanne?
I found it basically in some weird nature-y shriny thing, and
so there was a meteorite crash, or what appeared to be.
Yeah.
A glowing blue silver object embedded in the ground in the forest near where you were camping. You're the one that found it.
Yep.
You're the one that picked it up. So it coded itself to you. Basically, I had plans laid up for whoever was going to pick this thing up. In your case, because you are a paladin, a sword makes sense for you. So it is a bastard sword, a hand-and-a-half sword, which has sentience. So she immediately began talking now. She doesn't know quite where she is, who she is, what's going on. All she knows is that she was... her old master released her, so therefore she automatically goes to hunt a new master. That's just her existence. She doesn't remember much other than that her old master released her.
It'll be cool to explore that story and find out more about the talking sword.
You will eventually. Now, the thing about Leanne, though, is she's got a couple of quirks. Which we found out very quickly.
When I stab people, she like nuts.
So her, obviously being a magical weapon, her only want in life is to be used. She wants to be used to her full potential. So she gets almost orgasmic pleasure from being used. So from
stabbing people,
from being stabbed into people and slashing people, and she's very encouraging of you lashing out in certain situations. And very encouraging of you enjoying combat.
Which is ironic because coming from the Order of the Red Sun. I mumbled that because I was unsure if I was sure or not. But yeah, coming from there, and obviously with the Red Lady and being all tactical and having to be smart about what the fuck I'm doing, and then I've just got this sword that's just like, blood for the blood god. And
she's very posh. She speaks very...
blood for the blood bloke.
She speaks very ethereally and very posh.
Okay. And here's me just like, alright love, do you want to stab someone?
But yeah, it was very fun the first time you used her, and I got to sit in front of a group of people making pretend orgasm noises. That wasn't awkward at all. Now I just make sure they are assumed. I don't actually do that.
Part 2 of dating the DM, like chatting up your own sword.
Yeah.
Wow. I went there. The Luna's just on your lap looking confused as fuck right now.
Yeah, I do apologise for the meows. I'm probably not going to be able to cut around them, so...
She's adorable. Follow our Instagram, we got it back.
Yeah, a big announcement. Last week while I was off sick, while I was dying, I did finally manage to get Instagram to give us our account back. So we're back up and running, /2cats. They still won't tell me why they blocked us in the first place.
They won't admit it, but it's their fucking, algorithm.
Yeah, so I had a read up. We were in the middle of a bunch that got deleted for assumption of them being bots for no real reason other than the fact that Instagram basically decided to cull a shit ton of people without checking anything. A lot of people were saying that they were using auto posters and we weren't. So I don't know how we could have gotten mixed in with them other than the fact Instagram was just picking people at random.
I think it was because we had below a certain amount of images, we weren't commenting or liking on that much, and we had a dwindling amount of followers.
Because we've been up 3 days at that point.
Yeah, and then Instagram was like, oh, this is a bot trying to sell penis things, ban. And then we were like, hello, we are real people, you are a social media site, and yet you refuse to talk to people, you bunch of cooks.
So it wasn't even that they got back in touch with me from putting through social media messages and putting up public posts and putting through, their actual... appeals process. None of that worked. What I did is I actually went on a website and found an alternate link to their appeals process, and that's what finally worked. I finally got a response from them doing that. So even their own appeals process on the website is broken. You have to go through a third party to find the actual link to the appeals process that works. Yeah. It's bullshit, it's ridiculous, and it's off topic.
Yeah. Just on the last word I want to say on this topic, because Instagram is owned by Facebook, in a very roundabout way, we got zucked. Big time.
Very roundabout.
But yeah, so...
Let's get back onto Kevara Strongarm, though.
Yeah.
Most of this episode is about magic items, admittedly, and we have done about half an hour of that. But let's do, in the last couple of minutes, a little bit of a further deep into Kevara's story. So, what we know so far. She grew up the younger of two sisters.
Yep.
Her older sister succeeded very well at the very prestigious magic school that is in their hometown.
Yep.
They had probably a relatively tough upbringing. Both parents wanted them to be very into their studies and into magic, and whereas her sister succeeded basically at everything she tried, Kevara always struggled a little bit more with magic. It was more of an average
I feel
magic user.
like she glazed over a lot.
Yeah, it wasn't her interest.
Yeah.
Until she made friends with her 6 dwarves.
She's the 7th honorary one, even though she's twice their height.
Yep, she's an honorary dwarf.
She can reach the top shelf.
She's the tall dwarf. They sort of got her into their whole lifting thing. It's a group of friends who've known each other from childhood, presumably. One of them is getting married. Her girlfriend has been visiting them on and off the whole time and has finally proposed, and everyone is going back to their hometown for the wedding. Mm-hmm. They invited Kevara, and she turned down at first, thinking, obviously, that she won't be able to convince her parents and blah, blah, blah.
Tiefling and all that, but, stand out like
yeah, she felt like she didn't quite belong there, and she was still trying to fight to sort out things with her family. However, the night that they were leaving, she got into a big argument with her parents, bitch slapped her dad into a chicken, gathered her stuff, and left. Presumably stopped by the school to say goodbye to her sister, and also, I'm assuming that's where the friends were probably meeting up outside the school.
They might have been all lifting. Quick gym session before they left.
I imagine that she probably came into the courtyard and they were packing up the wagon to go. Mm-hmm. And she asked for just 5 minutes while she went and told her sister what was going on. And apologised for bitch slapping their dad into a chicken. Yeah. The sister, obviously, I think she was probably kind of happy about it, seeing Kevara actually do something that was for herself and not for her parents.
Yeah, and she can go and turn him back from being an actual cock into just being a cock of a father.
Yeah, and can go and try and teach them how to parent. Gave her the bracelet, maybe, I don't know if she enchanted it then and there, she was probably making it anyway for Kevara for her birthday or something, I think, with an enchantment like that. Gave it her, wished her luck and told her to keep in touch. And she went down to her dwarf friends. I've just double-checked. There were only 5 dwarves in our original notes, not 6.
Well, there's now a 6.
So, sorry about that. So, do you want to have a talk a bit more about the leaving or about planning these dwarves a little bit? Because we have their classes or their sort of roles, but we don't actually have names or personalities or anything.
Well, we could all we could go full stereotype and just be the warrior hitty ones are quite me fight kind of thing. Or maybe
stereotypes aren't really our thing.
Let's flip it over actually. Let's the toughest ones are the girliest ones, and they've had no trouble with there's always had trouble with men because they'll go up to the bar and obviously they'll hit on some thin bard boy and she'll spank him and shatter his pelvis. They're too strong for their own good, so that's why they've turned to another buff female dwarf because they can basically wreck a hotel room.
I think your initial description would match really well the fighter character we've got.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously it's the cleric that's getting married, not the fighter. But
the cleric's still ripped.
They're all ripped, but the fighter one's the strongest, the biggest, the burliest. So I think she's probably the effeminate sort of one that you're thinking of, the flirty one that keeps getting them into trouble.
Think of the ogre from Monster Monsu, is it? Monster Mazum? Mm. She's big and strong, but she wants to be really girly. So whatever she wears, she just looks like some sort of swole Barbie, but obviously short.
How about a name then?
Ooh, I don't know.
Shall we have a load up? So there's a few different websites I use for D&D, including naming ones. So hang on a sec.
What was that website I went on before? It was what the fuck is my character?
Yeah. Well, that didn't give us names, so it just gave us information about personality types. So there's a website called fantasynamegenerators.com, which I use a lot for ideas. Normally what I do is I'll take a couple of bits and pieces and make my own name from what they come up with. So this is a perfect example of when I would do that, because every single name it is given us for female dwarf names are completely impronounceable.
What about Tor Millennium Brown Axe? Because that could be a preference she likes.
Kyle. I would like to put Tor Millennium is not Tor Millennium. It's Tremem Aline. There's 2 M's together.
Can we just call her Lynn, because that's the last 3 letters of that name? Lynn Brownaxe.
I'm not happy with Brownaxe because you're going to make so many bad puns, Kyle.
Alright, or about Lynn Jadesword? Or Lynn Mudarm. No, Lynn Mudarm's even worse.
Yeah, Oak Forged.
Yeah, Oak Forge works.
So, Lynn Oak Forged.
And she could have a side perk of that she fucking loves plants.
Why?
I don't know, everyone needs a hobby.
Okay, fair enough. Likes trees.
Yeah, that's why she's called Oak Forge, because like she fucking loves trees, because the only thing that she can bench that's a challenge.
God. Okay, so that's the fighter done.
Yeah.
Now we do have a herbalist / alchemist on here. Do you think those two would be close then? If she really likes trees?
Yeah. And we could call her...
I'm gonna random generate the names again. Some of these. Brooke Dawin.
Doralore Underbraids.
Doralore is such a bad name.
Doralore Underbraids. She doesn't shave, but she's braided her armpit hair. And that's why she's called Underbraids.
Oh, God, Kyle.
Come on, this is going to be great. We could build a whole shitty campaign around this.
I'm putting an accent on the E, so it's Doralore.
Doralore.
Doralore. I think I like that one.
Because she's worth it.
I think it's funnier if she doesn't braid, and it's just a family name, and it's like the first thing everybody asks her is, "Oh, do you braid your pubes, mate?" And she punches them.
Yeah, that works.
I think she's probably the grumpy one.
Or maybe Underbraids is because it was like a dwarven underwear making, or undergarment making family. And she's broken away because she doesn't want to be associated with the Underbraid brand, especially after the fiery penis scandal.
Kyle. There's not a fiery penis scandal.
Oh, come on, we're building a world here.
Yeah, no, but
someone's
there's not
pants have caught fire somewhere.
Yeah, but it's not being called the fiery penis scandal.
Alright, fiery phallus.
I'm putting it
Phallic flame.
To underwear fortune.
Yeah. And like she like makes like she wants to make
and then
like
I'm putting comments fire pants.
Yeah. But she wants to make underwear that's got like a built-in lifting belt. So but like they rejected it, so she was like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna go be an alchemist."
Oh God. Okay, so that's 2 of the 3.
Yep.
Sorry, 2 of the 5.
Oh.
We've got the bard next.
Yep.
Now we have to decide if they are traditional bard or not. So we put down bard as a general idea. Are they our singer-songwriter tradition? Are they a dancer maybe?
I think there should be an accordion.
You want them to be an accordion player?
Yeah, I want to play an accordion.
Okay, I've put accordion down in the notes.
Yep. Fun fact, I do have an accordion somewhere.
I know you do, you've shown it me.
God help me if I ever learn to play it.
Nulara, that's quite a nice name.
Melara?
Nulara.
Nulara.
Nulara Goldhorn, that's a great name.
There's Ingotstone. Smeltbringer. These Brick Heart. That's a fucking proper burly name. Norala Brickheart. She'll fucking like beat the shit out of you, and she'll play a tune on her accordion later about it.
Warbeard. Forge Delver. That's the thing. A lot of these are 2 words put together, and they'll mix and match. So you'll in the next page maybe get Gold Head instead of Flint Head, or Gold Horn. You know, things like that.
Yeah, you see it a lot in like with dwarven stuff, especially if you look at the WoW name there, dwarves. They have a lot of surnames that are like Ironhide or like Stone Skin or like Brewbeard or something silly like that. So Stone Axe is one I think as well.
I like Inkheart for a bard.
Because they write musical things.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that. Sheet music, yo.
Ink.
And she gets inspiration from watching the others fight to make songs.
Yeah. I also would love it if she actually couldn't read.
An illiterate accordion player.
Yes.
She's
learned by ear entirely, everything. She's like a virtuoso. She can pick up things by ear almost instantly. And it's like her greatest secret is that she can't read, and no one knows that she can't read.
That's amazing. I think there's another funny twist that she should be also able to speak another language.
Yeah, bilingual.
Even though she can't read either language.
She just had a really good friend who was a gnome growing up and just picked it up.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, gnomes and dwarves do tend to work hand in hand in Uncanny universes.
It depends on what we want in ours.
Well, let's leave them working hand in hand because they're both short, but by their powers combined, they can reach halfway up the Tesco shelves.
Jesus. I would like to say in D&D, dwarves are usually about 5 foot tall, whereas gnomes are about 3.
Yeah,
so there's a big height difference between the two.
By their powers combined, they're no longer a manlet.
Cool, so that's the bard planned out.
Yep.
The shaman.
Ooh. Why don't we go with Moira Bristlebark?
Moira Bristlebark.
So let's say she has a single totem that she can that's it's big enough to be worn on her back, and when she's about to fucking get real, she just plonks that fucker down.
So I think you've been spoiled a little bit as to what shamans are by World of Warcraft.
I probably have, because shamans are fucking badass, and I've got a feeling you're about to piss all over it with fiery piss water.
Like, totems aren't what you think they are.
There's different definitions for totem. When I say totem, I mean something that's probably about 1.5 feet high, it glows to fuck, and it provides an AoE buff.
No, that's not a thing in any other media,
well,
really.
This is our universe.
She can certainly have a staff that's carved very intricately. I think that would work quite well.
Or a small anvil that she could just throw down.
She's not throwing anvils at people. She's not a blacksmith.
No, but you can't have a totem, then she'll just have an anvil that's been blessed with an AoE buff.
No, Kyle, no. She can certainly have a staff.
Yeah.
Or maybe a very intricately carved helmet.
Yeah.
That looks maybe a bit more like a totem that you're thinking of. Something like that.
What if she had a wooden shield with a small stone mace?
Yeah. And the shield is carved.
Yeah, and they're obviously they're enchanted. They're more for show than for dealing damage. But they provide they provided with stat improvements.
Yeah, I mean, she'll cast spells and stuff as well.
She can twonk someone with that mace if she needs to.
Of course, she's multi-skilled. Perfect. So there's only one left then, and that's the star of the show, really, the cleric, the one that's getting married. So she's engaged to a blacksmith. It's her wedding that they're going to.
Yep. With there being a blacksmith, she'll be able to make all kinds of wonderful things.
Kyle.
Talk about weapons, God. Jeez.
So we need a name.
Hader Lightbeard. Do we already have a character that's got beard in the surname?
Don't think so.
Cool, so she can be called Lightbeard, and she comes from a line of clerics that have had beards, and she's the odd one out because she was the youngest, and she was also a girl out of a family of 12. So she went off to become a cleric somewhere else, but still carries the Beard surname, even though she can't grow one until she's old.
So she's the youngest of 12, so she's the baby of the family.
Yeah, all the rest of them are like fucking beards. They're just beards.
They're just giant walking beards.
They're just giant walking beards with... Obviously, the rest of the dwarf behind the beard.
Is she the only girl?
Yeah, so she couldn't grow a beard, so they were like, we're going to send you off to a special magic school so you can learn beardy magic.
Okay. But that's perfect. So we've got a good idea then of the people she's going to be travelling with now.
Yeah.
Quite a collection of characters.
Definitely.
That's certainly one word for them. What I'll do is I'll do a more in-depth write-up probably and stick it on everywhere so people can have a quick nosy.
Yeah, and then once we finish building this world, maybe we could just tell a little story about it.
Well, that's the thing. That's what we're doing. We're going to be building a story as we go along.
Yeah.
So we've already got...
we could maybe do a couple of little role-play bits and stuff.
Yeah, we could certainly do that. We maybe get some friends in to play different characters and do a...
Yeah, the cats aren't really vocal enough for that kind of thing, are they?
No, not... I mean, Luna could be.
Yeah, she could do the screams.
Yeah. She's very good at screaming.
Cat ownership. But yeah, so that was really fun. That was fantastic. We've established all the characters and their names and a little bit about them.
Our main core cast to start with.
Yep, and we've given them weapons.
There's one last thing we should do before we go.
Oh.
So we keep mentioning her sister, but we haven't actually given the sister a name yet.
Okay.
So obviously she's also a Strongarm.
Mm-hmm.
What's her sister's name?
Blighty? Blighty Strongarm.
No.
Okay. What about Bicep?
No, she's not... If Kevara's got a normal name...
Okay, so we need to think of something magical.
Let's have a look at fantasy human names on here, shall we? Because like I say, they've got fucking everything.
Wow, this website could have ended my WoW character creation woes a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's not even a word!
Richard. Millicent's nice.
It is.
That's not normally how you spell Millicent, but yeah.
Millicent Strongarm sort of got a kind of almost stuck-uppy kind of thing, but it's a plot twist because she's actually really nice.
Or Elia.
Strongarm. Macy.
Izamaya.
Madeline. Do one more. Do one more thing.
Let's do another shuffle. Millicent again.
What about that bottom one that I can't pronounce?
Guinevere.
Yeah. Guinevere Strongarm.
That's not normally how it's spelled, but yes, Guinevere
that
is a good
fucking works. We're doing something. Fuck.
I don't know how to spell Guinevere normally, so I'm going to have to Google that quickly in a bit.
Yeah.
I know it's not usually spelt with a H in it, so... Gwenhevere is not normally how you spell Guinevere.
It's really not.
I don't know how to spell it, but I know it's not like that.
Awesome.
But yeah, perfect. So we're about 45 minutes in-ish, probably just shy, because there's always a minute or two of Kyle panicking about doing the introduction at the start.
Hey, you did really good this time.
You did do really good first time. But yeah, so like I say, we're very sorry again about last week, guys.
Health comes before this kind of thing. This is still like a hobby and something that we enjoy doing and we're building up on. And health.
But if I'm in the hospital, I can't really help it.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me drag a PC, 3 monitors, and a recording mic into there, and then expect me to borrow all of the extension cords just so that we could record.
No, it wasn't going to work.
Although thinking about it now, I could probably have done it all on my phone, but we wouldn't.
That wouldn't have sounded good.
Put it this way: we were the only people in there who didn't have a police escort, so let's leave it at that.
Yeah. It was fun, especially being put into a quarantine zone with no one talking to you. That was fun.
I was there.
I meant the doctors not telling me what was going on.
I know, but they were very busy. The A&E in our local area is full of people and police. And
it's near the city centre
people
of
getting
like
manhandled.
A university city. Like there's 2 universities in our city, and it gets
and the other problem is as well is like that everyone that comes to that A&E, there's one person that's injured, and then there's like 4 people on tow escorting them, which is why I was happy that it was just me and you and no one else.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're rambling off course there. They say big up to the NHS again, and we apologise for being behind that last week.
Yeah,
but
like I say, Instagram is back up, so you can check in on us during the week, and there'll be lots of stuff going up there. We're going to try post it on social media a bit more, so make sure you're following us on Twitter as well, and obviously we're on Facebook, all that jazz.
Yeah. On Twitter, I'm going to be taking a little bit more control. I did throw something out there last week about the Steam Proton. I wanted to get a few opinions on people that use it for Linux gaming. I try and get a bit of a conversation going there about that, just because it's an interesting subject. I don't think it's covered enough at the moment.
Yeah. So if you want to have a natter about that, head over there.
Yeah, we're always sanding on stuff. We're always available to talk.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So we haven't really discussed what we're doing next week yet.
No, we haven't, but I think we should leave it as a mystery. But it's going to be probably off topic because we're going to give this a rest so that we can compile notes and plan a little bit more for it, because I would like to do something big and exciting for the next episode involving this character. Mm-hmm. So we would like a bit of build-up for that. So we'll leave it for now.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Kevara stuff was never going to be every week anyway. It's always going to be every now and then.
Yeah. But let's talk about, you know what I want to talk about, WoW Classic. I mean,
we can certainly do an episode on WoW Classic if you'd like, seeing as it's coming out.
Yeah, we'll talk about general things that are going on in the games industry, because there's a lot of drama going on, and I feel that not enough people know about said drama.
So we're going to have a news session, or a tea session rather.
Yeah, news, tea, and MMOs.
Perfect. So that's what you've got to look forward to next week, guys. It's going to be a bit messy, but we'll make do. Other than that, we really hope you've enjoyed this week.
Definitely. I have.
I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to them, but yeah.
No, I was hoping that they'd definitely enjoy it too. You can tell it's late at night and we're both tired. But we do this because it's fun.
Yeah, work's been getting in the way, but we plod on.
We certainly do. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and it's bye for now.
Yeah, have a good week. Bye.